Hello, little simps. This is part 2 to Jailbirds. Let's get into it. As you woke up on the fourth floor, you remember the occurring events that happened yesterday. You thought it was insane how fast things could happen in a minute. Then you looked over to your left and saw Sal, of course, laying on the floor, basically drunk as, looking as ever. But you know he wasn't. It was just his sleeping face. And he had drool dripping down his face and everything. You shook him trying to wake him up, but he refused to get up. And then when he finally did wake up, he was starving. You were both starving. So you both sat up and walked over to the bag that you got of a bunch of food and snacks, and you took out your favorite food item, and Sal took out Pringles. Of course, salt and vinegar, because it's the best, and I refuse to admit any other flavors of chips are better than salt and vinegar. As you guys began to snack on it, you heard a snap behind you. You got scared, really, really scared. Like, what if there was a bear out here? Then you heard more snaps. Then you heard talking. There was people coming. What if they saw you and saw a poster of you and was like, oh my gosh, there's criminals? Or was that too early on? Or were you not high on the wanted list? You couldn't decide yet. When they finally came into view, they walked right past you thinking you were a campsite. You and Sal let out a relieved huff, knowing you wouldn't have been able to outrun them fast enough. As you laid around eating Pringles and your favorite snack, you stole Sal's salt and vinegar chips, and you guys began to run around having fun. And then you heard a very, very familiar voice. There they are! It was the guy from yesterday, the one who was trying to get you arrested. I knew they'd be in here. They're the ones who tried to hurt me yesterday. As a few cops walked over, you realized that you were about to get arrested. And this was most likely illegal, because you were only 16, and you were technically a minor, and you couldn't be seen in front of a judge without a parent, and there was no parents in town. Sal's dad had left a while ago, and your parents were out on a vacation. You didn't know what the hell you guys were going to do about it. All you knew was that you had to get out of there. You tried to grab your stuff and leave, but they wouldn't let you go. And then you shouted a bunch of forbidden words, if you know what I mean, at them. And Sal just gave you a look of, please don't do that anymore. Let's quit so that we don't get hurt, basically. And they threw you into a car. Literally picked you up and threw you into the car and didn't even care if you were buckled. Sal was put into a different car, and you were very, very nervous and scared and basically throwing a tantrum. As you were thrown into a jail again, you were separated from Sal, not being able to see him at all. You were very, very sad and depressed that you couldn't see him, and fell into a depression. They kept you there for weeks and weeks until your parents would come, and those weeks turned into a month. An entire month you were locked away. You refused to eat, nor did you sleep, really. Only a few times did you pass out from exhaustion and hunger. You were very skinny now and throwing up a lot. The prison guards felt bad for you, so one day they finally let you go to Sal, and you decided to actually eat that day. You gained a few extra pounds after meeting up with Sal again, becoming more healthy and healthy, and you began to actually start living again, like a normal person. Well, kinda, inside of a jail cell. You ate your food now. You would actually get up, work out a bit, and go to visit Sal again, because they still allowed you. They allowed you to visit him like a normal person, but you'd had to go back to the cell afterwards. Sal also was very depressed on that time zone. Though he didn't starve himself, his mental conflicts were worse, and he was fighting his urges days and days and days of taking his life, because he was so scared and worried that he would never see you again. even though he knew he was being dramatic, but in that time, he couldn't think anything else of it. When you guys were separated, he attempted to escape again to get to you, but the jail guys got him before he could. As he was rushing around trying to find you when he finally did escape one time, he was tased and put back away. He was so happy to hear that he'd be able to see you that day. He put on a fake smile to make you feel better, but he was very, very gruesomely sick and tired of waiting around for months. When it was finally time for your hearing, since your parents didn't show up in time, and his parent did, so you guys were in front of the judge, and the judge thought this was absolutely ridiculous that you were in front of him right now. But as the jury continued, most of them didn't believe it and wanted to know the whole entire story. As you were walking in, you saw the guy who put you in the situation. You glared daggers at him, knowing that it would do nothing, but he deserved as many daggers as you possibly could form out of your eyes. Of course, couldn't actually form real daggers, but you could try. As you finally sat down, the hearings finally started. Well, when I was peacefully walking, these two lunatics came out of nowhere and threw hot coffee all over me and then tried to tase me. He completely messed up the story, and you knew it, and he was lying straight to the judge's face. You didn't know it at the time, but the judge had video record of everything that actually happened. So as you were waiting for your turn, Sal got called first, and he was a stuttering mess, too nervous to talk. He looked at you for insurance, and you gave him as much as you could, patting his hand and all. When the judge looked over and gave you finally a turn to speak, you told him everything that you had thought, and how he totally messed up the story, and that you were sure there might be cameras somewhere around there that he could look at. After you were finished speaking, the judge said, "Well, yes, you are correct. I do have video camera proof of everything that actually happened, and I believe you and Sal. The guy that tried to blame you for this and almost got you arrested for life, because of coffee, his jaw dropped. He couldn't believe what he was hearing, that he would actually lose to a bunch of loser kids who spilled coffee on him. You were so excited that you kissed Sal right then and there. Too excited, actually. And you got really embarrassed that you just did that. You were really happy that you were free to walk out finally, getting your normal clothes, your phone, and keys back to your house. You walked out. Sal's dad had had an entire conversation and talk to you two both about how you have to be mature and you have to stop causing issues like this and blah blah blah. So, sorry guys, I'm so tired. So, after the long talk, you and Sal finally got to sleep in the same bed together again at your house because your parents were still not there and Sal's dad didn't really want to talk to you guys at the moment because how expensive that thing was. And as you finally went to sleep, you were so very grateful of Sal and his dad and everyone. You were so happy that you finally got out. I hope everyone has the best spring break. I only have 3 days. Tell me down in the comments how many days you get.